Hello there everyone and welcome back. That was kind of a rude series of matches, I gotta say, with trying to get back into Chaos. Although to be fair, a lot of my problem could have been alleviated if I chose one of these 4 sub-factions that at least gave me access to additional upgrades and abilities to at least better optimize my fleet. And hell, with the Macrocan fleet it wouldn't be too ridiculous to go with Nurgle. I'll have to think more on what kind of other factions might be useful, because hey, it goes without saying, bloodletter parties could have allowed me to kill the crew of the tomb ship. It's like I said, I could have had more options available to me as opposed to the flavor of being like the Alpha Legion, which I think is my preferred sub-faction, especially since I have a, Sons of the Hydra book. I'm getting back into reading 40k novels, so I am eager to see what the Alpha Legion have been up to. Never mind the fact that I'm also have the omnibus for the Armageddon series, so we're going to be diving back into my Lance Imperial Navy fleet because I just adore this fleet. Haven't had enough games to say how practical it is though, but to commemorate this occasion, we're going to go with the Armageddon yellow colors. And I definitely want to go back into Chaos because already I have a thought of maybe just stripping out the frigates altogether. Since all the time I spent with Aeldari, Vision wasn't really a terrible thing, since this does allow me to have access to an additional fighter squadron, and that's going to be important since my despoiler was heavily neutered in his bombing damage. Even against Necron, against the Dark Assassin there, the poorest bombers were just getting annihilated by a single squadron of those Doom Scythes, and it's annoying. So a Hellbringer, which now I can kind of squeeze in there, helps a ton. I'm just going to have to get used to the idea of not having a frigate for this fleet, as much as I dislike it and feel like it can be heavily abused. Kind of like how I hinted before with Augur Disruptor Bomb, how it has some practicality. Where the hell is that upgrade? There it is. How it has some practicality, especially against the Asuryani rather, just because there is very little incentive to have those frigates. And there's other possibilities elsewhere, but it's a little more meta. You kind of need to know your opponent's not going to be fielding frigates to really take advantage of this upgrade. So I am reluctant to try and rely so much on that. I could have also switched the frigates to something with a little more staying power, since the torpedoes are really difficult to utilize. But when they hit, it's good burst damage to kind of get a killing blow on, like those 2 battle cruisers that we've seen in that match. But like I said already, we're going to have some fun with the Imperial Navy. It's a good opportunity to see the difference between Chaos and this type of fleet, since they kind of serve the same kind of function. They want to engage things at long range just due to the nature of the lances, but they have the 83 armor prow, they have the torpedoes, and they have the ramming spurs. They can fight in close, whereas Chaos almost exclusively wants to stay at range if at all possible. So this, I feel like, would be a good demonstration of this, and hell, do I really want to switch out these? What kind of damage these frigates have? Since I believe their lances was also buffed up a tiny bit. I like my torpedoes, especially if I have to fight a frigate war for like objectives, as silly as it may sound. So let's get this started nonetheless, and hopefully that was just a string of bad matches, of bad luck that I encountered with my time with Chaos. Okay, we're face off against Chaos, the faction I just jumped out of no less, so this is going to be interesting, and we're seeing Nurgle. It goes without saying we kind of have some expectations on what to be had here. Either way, this should be a fun match, I'm hoping, and it's a good opportunity to redeem myself, although I would have preferred righting the wrong of my defeat with my Aeldari with my Aeldari fleet, as opposed to a different faction altogether. Alright, so this is the opportunity we need, just not the one I was kind of expecting with this commentary. Should I be worried? Probably not, but this should hopefully be a good time. And another thing to note, since I have had issues with losing my engines really early in my Chaos matches, since these are battle cruisers, that is alleviated slightly. At least a little bit. It's just unfortunate there's like almost no cover at all, good god. So once I'm revealed, I am stuck in this predicament. And I do have a micro warp jump. I kind of am tempted to kind of fly over here, but that sounds stupid, since I am forfeiting a lot of my points. So I think what I'm going to do instead is have one of the frigates go grab that point. Then take full advantage of trying to secure these 3 points, since I should have the better close range firepower. Assuming my opponent is like the long range type of route and not really utilizing slaughters. And even then, I would still argue I have better close range firepower just because of my ramming and torpedoes. So this should still go pretty well. I just don't think I want to boost recklessly. And Stasis Bomb would be good at keeping them from running away, but don't know how actually useful that is. Let's go with Emperor's Taron instead. At least that way I can confirm vision on one of the ships at all time.
Course engaged.
So let's see how this goes. Engines to keep them from running. Unless they're battleships, then we'll try and change that priority some.
We serve.
And unless they're in close range, I kind of want to keep the lock-on stance at all times on this Apocalypse, since it gets greatly increased lance range because of the lock-on stance. It's kind of necessary to a limited extent.
We serve.
And with that said, okay, this is going to be interesting. I wish I had brace for impact, but we know what we're facing off against now. Wait, are they? I want to say these are Stigs.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Ship ready.
Alright.
Setting course.
I kind of am tempted to go brace for impact, but
Your orders.
since it is really hard to tell if these are bombers or not, and I did
You
launch
have
my own
seized a
fighters,
strategic area.
we'll know momentarily what we're facing off against. Since, again, this is where I want the brace for impact to help.
Acknowledged.
There's a lot of fighters.
Aye, Admiral.
I am revealed, but
Underway.
their firepower is heavily limited some.
Brace for impact.
Can I boost on past? Nope.
Damage teams begin repair.
That is unfortunate.
Changing course.
Can we chase after these some? I want to kill off these fighters.
Engaging engines. Burn retros.
I am shooting, but I don't think I have enough power now.
Burn retros.
A little unfortunate, but I do have asteroid belts coming up ahead soon. I just gotta reveal these ships for it to really matter.
Burn retros.
No.
Enemy sighted. Coordinates acknowledged.
I don't got the convenience of my lock on, alas, but let's see if we can do some damage here. And watch for these bombers too.
Burn retros. Ship ready. Burn retros.
Since I don't recall seeing... Let's see, I just want to make sure these bombers are going after the ship I'm thinking they are.
We serve. Execute high energy turn. Ship ready.
Okay, hit the ramming spurs.
We will
I'm gonna
check
get hit by
command.
disruption bombs, so be careful of that.
Acquiring new vector. Your orders. Changing course.
Oh, they're all battleships, so they're actually more than I realized. Those 4 blips kind of misled me a tiny bit.
Burn retros. Your orders. Initiate emergency
No.
repairs. Burn retros. Underway.
Now I have ramming spurs. Let's take advantage of this. Sadly, not the most impressive ram right there, but
Aye, Admiral.
can we get on out?
Ship ready. We wait your command.
I don't think most of these are going to make it out intact, just because of the close proximity.
Engaging engines. Aye, Admiral.
The fire assaults did nothing, alas, so...
Heading acknowledged.
And I want to be mindful of just how much damage these borings can do. Oh, and that was a dictator too. I could have used that for good measure.
Aye, Admiral.
Now, We need to kill some of these quickly, because my opponent is kind of fixate on the flagship right now, which can be a good thing.
Damage team, begin repairs now.
The enemy
Sadly,
has seized
the point defense are shooting these down. I'm not doing nearly the damage I would like.
25% of strategic points.
Changing course.
So we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way then.
Ship ready.
Setting course.
Bombers, yeah, the bombers are hitting there. My fighters should have intercepted, right? No, they just took way too long to kind of board.
We serve.
Course engaged.
And Raymond Spurs, I'm hoping does what it needs to. I'm just not doing nearly the damage necessary.
Your orders?
This is the silliest type of matchup so far.
Acknowledged. We wait your
It is
command.
not looking promising. If I need
Coordinates acknowledged.
something to go my way quickly.
Your orders.
And I don't think killing the flagship blast is going to do it for me.
Course engaged.
You have accumulated.
And with my crew almost gone, this is...
points.
Yeah, this is just about over already.
Ship ready.
Just not having any vision to really deny those fighters really stinks for me there.
Burn retros.
Nah. What I could have done is maybe play a little more defensive. Now that gas cloud on the far right doesn't seem like a terrible idea, does it now?
Setting course.
Did a bad job utilizing my fighters, though.
Ship lost.
No. It goes without saying, I was kind of expecting Stigs looking at those 4 blip icons. And torpedoes did very little last two, so I need to fire them in groups, it goes without saying, to kind of overwhelm the point defense. Because if I fire them stagnantly like that, then as you can see, they kind of get shot down. Which I don't even think Volpez was using the brace for impact. And I don't think there were even any fighters out, so I was kind of expecting to do a little bit more there, truth be told. Okay, I guess we're going to have ourselves a rematch here, so we'll see if the layout works a little bit better. Since, like, with brace for impact, I can shoot down any fighters that are spotting me relatively well before they have to, before the bombers can go in response. Since it's not very helpful for them to kind of brute force the bombers out really at the start of the match. It's just that weird circumstance we had for that one layout. There was nothing that, this is looking a lot better, of course, but we had, an asteroid belt in the corner, which normally would be a bad deployment spot just because of where the objectives were. And the one I was seriously considering, which would be terrible for trying to win the objective game, was way over on the side. Huh. Okay, I was mistaking Void Weaver for the Void Stalker. And sadly, the micro warp jump was not really helpful in that regard, since it does get negated by... Probably would have seriously gone with Disruption Bomb or the Plasma Bomb in all seriousness. I was kind of thinking this would be more of a positional type of game, rather than the inconvenience of dealing with bombers. Although, I guess in some sense I should have been able to predict they were going to be all battleships, possibly, since that's what we kind of been encountering in all my Chaos matches with Aeldari. So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. It's just a matter of how to best deal with that. We have an easier solution to it. Now this time, let's try and spread up my fleet a little bit here. And Stasis Bomb might be good for, well, it does have its use against the bombers, let's not kid ourselves. It is a great way to deal with the Seeker missiles and bombers at Tau, especially if they're diligent enough with their vision. So it has practicality here too, just not one you would expect.
We serve. Setting course.
Alright, Beacon helps with that matter, but I can also stick it onto one of the ships I can hang back. So it's not too terrible.
Aye, Admiral.
I just gotta make sure my frigate does not get spot carelessly. Since I'm probably gonna be taking my sweet time here. And again, well, there are multiple gas clouds, let's be honest.
We wait your command.
So let's just take advantage of this. Where would the gas beacon go? Realistically, it's probably going to be here.
Aye, Admiral.
So I'm just going to try and get ready to grab these points. And I'm going to be hitting the cloud in a moment.
Serve.
Just got to be mindful. Yeah, I just got to be mindful this thing's going to reveal me, and I'll be in position to just get the hell away. Assuming it's going to... Yeah, well, it's just stopping on the objective. That makes life a tiny bit easier, just makes it tricky to advance forward.
We wait your command.
Ooh, that was close. That looked like I was about to fall off there with my turning. And that's not exactly what you want.
We serve.
And which one is my dictator? Okay, I just want to be sure where my dictator is. Meanwhile, let's keep an eye out.
We serve. Burn retros.
Since I can reveal these ships, actually, I don't need to move too much here.
Understood.
Let's get ourselves turned around and ready
Seized a strategic area.
to deal with this. Sure, they may grab the third point pretty much for free, but I can at least hit them and I'll have some mark or scanner pulses to help with that too, but
Orders.
just gotta make sure frigates.
Heading
Oh.
acknowledged.
Let's see.
Aye, Admiral.
Where is my dictator?
Fury interceptors in flight.
Because that can deal with these pretty damn well.
Changing course.
I just got intercept them as the main thing now. It's best to kill these before the damage is done. And I am curious to see how
Coordinates
long
acknowledged.
this can last, or how well the fighters can deal with these.
We serve.
Huh. Interesting.
Changing course.
Alright.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Come on. Come on in nice and close.
We wait your command.
That's a little unfortunate, but we're getting some free shots in. Doesn't really matter when they have 4 charges, I guess, but still. Something we can use.
Ship ready.
That is a little bit unfortunate,
Engaging engines.
since it seemed like my one squadron of 5 bombers
Aye, Admiral.
got murdered by the Doom Scythes, and they're not really any more durable or powerful, truth be told.
We wait your command. Your orders.
Now, let's see. That beacon's gonna go a little bit further to the middle here.
Course.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So thankfully that could possibly get out. Not very well done with the scan. Yeah, the fire results are gonna seal the deal here.
We serve.
Now I want something going in my favor.
Disengage. Engaging engines.
Because you are pretty much gonna grab this objective.
We wait your command.
And now gotta watch for bombers, because sure, the beacon's about to deploy. Let's keep that in mind too. But we're doing amazing damage so far on this.
Heading acknowledged.
Now let's start protecting the ship some.
Your orders?
Course engaged. Enemy sighted.
Start saying the numbers. If that frigate's gonna burn its time over there, then that's good. I just gotta make sure his frigate's safe from harm.
Ship ready.
Now, where are those bombers going? Because I heard fighters, I heard something launching at least.
Fury interceptors in flight. We serve.
And we can force these out of the gas cloud really quickly.
Burn retros. Your orders.
Your orders?
So there's the ramming spurs doing its thing.
Aye, Admiral.
Now,
Course engaged.
and the bomber should be denied. This thing just needs to die right now.
Engaging engines.
more bombers are dealt with, we're going to lose the one objective, but
Changing course.
time to get in close and personal and try
Understood.
and force some fire assaults here.
We wait your command. Setting course.
We serve.
And that was my dictator too, so let's keep that in mind.
Ship ready.
Can we do the damage necessary? Probably not, truth be told.
Firing new vector.
Especially with the scanner pulse about to come back up.
Coordinates acknowledged.
Ship ready. Understood. We serve.
Maximum burn.
Now, I want to hit everything with Disruption Bomb, I guess.
The enemy has accumulated
Since torpedoes are about to come back up,
25 strategic points.
I'll have a Novacan. This will force them out. Actually,
Aye, Admiral.
All ahead full. Course engaged.
You have accumulated
Now, I gotta remember,
25% of strategic
I have shield or torpedoes to utilize here
We
too,
wait your command.
as well as a Novacan for good measure.
Aye, Admiral. Acquiring new vector. Heading acknowledged. Execute high energy turn. Coordinates acknowledged.
Now, can I get the melted torpedo hits? Probably not, because they're gonna immediately get repaired. Let's not kid ourselves.
Maximum burn. Your orders? Coordinates acknowledged.
But we have bombers to help in this manner.
Admiral. Heading acknowledged.
Orders.
Brace for impact.
Now, this is gonna get messy. But if the flagship dies, maybe that's good for me. I just don't have any more torpedoes or burst damage. Because, damn it, it needs to die now. That's the problem. Because otherwise this Locust Cloud's going to do a world damage on me. Since the mutiny does not do a whole lot.
We serve.
Now, let's prioritize the dang deck.
We serve.
And of course I did ramming damage when it probably didn't need it either. Which probably helps in hurting this regard.
You failed for the last time, Captain.
Nope, I think this is over here, alas.
Engaging engines. Bulkheads failing.
Changing course.
And maybe, no, the wreckage is in the way, alas, so.
One of our ships is gone.
Fire
sir.
assaults, but should easily be repaired.
The flagship has been destroyed.
Reporting successful.
Well, the bombers are
coordinates.
definitely worth it, but
Changing course.
it's the critical mass that's doing it more or less, because
Full.
I tried using the spoiler in my last video after
Wait for
all.
command.
And alas,
Understood.
I guess I should be going for a deck, it goes without saying, as opposed to a generator. Although I didn't do a whole lot of damage either. So a beacon would definitely be useful in this regard too.
Vessel lost.
At least something with constant vision, because we've seen the beacon do decently there. Decently, but I still was able to negate the bombers at range pretty damn well. Definitely not my past few days, has it now? Maybe I should go back to Aeldari. Okay, we're gonna have ourselves something a little bit different here. And apparently, I need more fighters, because you figure I would be doing decently there, but at the same time, in retrospect, I should have had my fighters with my battleships. That would make it a lot more easier for me to deal with those bombers when the point defense are complementing it. It just is a bit of an awkward situation when I tried using my despoiler before, since, again, I feel like that's just a matter of the critical mass, the number of fighters or ships we have to deal with, whereas my ones didn't seem to fare as well, it seemed like anyway, against the Necron Doom Scythes when we faced off against Dark Assassin. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of experimentation, understand the nuances there, since Aeldari I didn't really have, and we didn't really have much of an issue here. Now, what was I trying to do here? After that interruption, let's see. Yeah, Kulex's assassin is just a question. Is it actually? Well, once the deck's gone, it can force a guaranteed mutiny. Let's not kid ourselves. And I don't think I need a stasis bomb. Well, actually, I think I want all these skills in all honesty, since I am kind of playing the long range type of route. With the lances and all that to kind of accommodate this. So let's see. Dictator there. At least 2 dictators. So are we dealing with possibly an all-cruiser type of fleet?
Your orders?
The points could possibly suggest it there.
Engaging engines.
Enemy sighted.
No. Otherwise, we do have a gas cloud here, but this should be a lot more manageable than dealing with potentially 15 squadrons of bombers.
Aye, Admiral.
So there is always that.
We wait your command.
And I would love to reveal this frigate here. Have my phone fit, I just gotta make sure my lances are able to hit it.
Ready.
Is the main thing. And also make tabs on where it's at, so this frigate's gonna try and reveal it. And hopefully we can obliterate this Cobra really quickly. Melt the
Course
torpedo.
engaged.
I also should be trying to launch torpedoes, but melted torpedoes can be so damn powerful once the repairs are burnt. The problem, though, is they're useless at this type of long range, and
You have seized
the
a
raw damage
strategic
can be pretty
area.
good too. Alright, those are only fighter squadrons,
The
so
enemy
nothing to
has
worry about
seized a
there yet.
strategic area.
And we'll see how my opponent responds to this. This really narrow torpedo arc should make it
We wait your command.
easy for them to dodge if they want to do high energy turn.
Being acknowledged.
Okay, so it's probably going to hit this one cruiser here, unless...
Enemy sighted.
Okay, they're boosting out of the way. They know what they're doing.
Ship ready. Changing course.
Now, can we kill this quickly?
Coordinates acknowledged.
Just gotta keep in mind I'm about to get scanner pulsed by 2 of these.
Course engaged.
I would like to have this one frigate not get spotted ideally. Nope, it got spotted.
Coordinates acknowledged.
But that is possibly your one frigate out of the way, so
Aye, Admiral.
no big loss yet, especially since they don't have nearly as much lances to kind of complement this.
Fury interceptors.
Now let's
in
see if we can
flight.
reveal them for more damage potential here.
We wait your command.
Alright,
Maximum burn.
we could dodge this decently. I just need to make sure the Apocalypse takes the point.
Setting course.
Underway.
Hell, I didn't even need to do that. Fighters were kind of doing the same thing, but now we know how to prioritize the generator.
Burn retros. We serve.
Now the main thing is to have the flagship take point. Ideally.
Your orders.
Actually, I could just reveal these 3 and just shoot them. It's just weird how the silhouette has to be vanished on me, which makes it a little more problematic to do.
Enemy sighted.
There, now let's give them hell.
Wait your command.
The enemy has seized a strategic
You let the shields
area.
take the brunt of this damage.
Underway.
Ideally.
Engaging engines.
And if I can... Let's see, engines are down there, so that's a good start. Yeah, these lance damage can do well when they're able to focus their fire appropriately.
Burn retros.
I am going to lose a bit of the objective game, at least temporarily.
Underway.
Now, let's go after our first victim, shall we? Especially with the engine permanently gone.
Flight. Engaging target.
And generators are gone as well. I don't want to focus on the one with the engines gone, because I know I'm going to catch up to that eventually.
Aye, Admiral.
It's these other ones I kind of want to deal with. Ideally before...
We wait your command.
Let's see, I have scanner pulses too, so let's take advantage of that.
Burn retros.
It's just not the best angle.
Aye, Admiral.
Alright, so I'll get to shoot at them kind of for free there.
Engaging engines.
Let's get the next Apocalypse swapping around. That's kind of going to be the most important thing.
Setting course. Aye, Admiral.
Alright, they haven't bothered repairing yet, because otherwise the deck would not have been repaired by now. So let's go for raw damage potential. And good ramming damage there as an added bonus. Hell, I could have fired Nova Cannons to be fair, but
Acknowledged.
we got a better opportunity with that right now.
Ship ready. All is lost.
Can we kill this off quickly?
All ahead full. Aye, Admiral.
Brace for impact for you. There's stasis bombs at the ready, and we have 3 engines critically hit. This is a lucky streak for me.
We wait your command.
And I guess, well, that's not going to be as good of a hit as I may sound.
Acknowledged.
But your deck's gone, this thing's pretty much out of the fight. Although I will admit that it's not nearly as impressive as a ram as I would have liked either.
Heading acknowledged.
Now, can we board this one here? Since I'm ready to go for the kill on the flagship, I think.
Your orders?
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I just need to kill this off.
Target locked in.
Oh, actually, you could just turn and take this pretty well, right?
All ahead full. Ship ready. Course engaged.
You still have repairs, right? This is kind of why Meltas can be pretty bad in a lot of circumstances. But in this case, that's going to be absurd amount of damage. Never mind, it's going to cause several mutinies at the same time.
Course. Starhawks loaded and sent.
Yeah, let's finish our prey and then board the hell of this last one.
We serve.
What's left? Well, I kind of want to force a repair on this Retribution since it has that available.
Report success.
And that's a bad angle though, but 2 fire assaults might force it.
Initiate emergency repairs.
And if it doesn't burn the repair, let's force the issue some. This is why I like staggering torpedoes.
Coordinates acknowledged. Damage teams, begin repairs now.
The enemy has accumulated 25.
Alright, drifting halt there. The boring damage to this thing.
Ship
Now, let's finish this off.
maximum burn.
Uh-oh, this is gonna explode, so let's get the hell out.
Engines.
Gonna be a little bit awkward, especially with my own stasis bomb.
Underway.
But
Brace for impact.
only one of them took damage, so I consider that a good success, given the circumstances.
Course engaged.
Yeah, considering when I'm single firing my torpedoes there, and they were hitting relatively well, I'm inclined to believe that maybe Fulpez did have brace for impact up, or at least some fighters around. Since you would have figured they would have got shot down just as quickly in those regards, right? Since I didn't have any fighters to kind of screen or distract after all. Alas, it is a lower admiral level fleet, so it's not like I can go too much on this victory. Alright, so Chaos yet again, different player, but now I'm wondering, how much should I worry about the bomber potential since really, it's almost like they could brute force me, seeing as the Dictator on its own is not up to the task. It could be argued at least, especially when they have the Devastation or at least a cruiser to kind of serve as a screen with just its 2 fighters. So it's not like they're really sacrificing a lot of their bomber damage is kind of what I'm saying. Because like I said, I could use stasis bombs to kind of hold them in place. Kind of like how I would use the stasis bomb against the seeker missiles against Tau. It has the same principle. This may not be the best type of layout, but it kind of works given the circumstance. I just might have to sit myself here and intimidate him from this point if I'm ever to grab it with a frigate or something. That's going to be a bit of the problem. And I do need to make good use of the Colex Assassin because I kind of forgot the power rams kind of were nerfed down heavily. They were 50%, I believe, then dropped down to 40%. Or actually, I'm mistaken that for the spurs themselves, yeah. So they got double nerfed, okay. So I completely forgot that was cut down quite significantly. It is still notable damage in combination with the spurs, but it loses a lot of its value, especially with the impact that Kulexes can do. Again, if they're going to be relying so much on bombers, it's not like having shields upgrades is going to be helpful either. But since I'm equipped for longer range, I like to try and outlast them some. I like to, but my positioning is very limited is the downside with that. So I'm going to hang on to the Colexis just in case, for when we get into close range fight.
Aye, Admiral.
And so far, this tells me... Well, it doesn't tell a whole lot yet, because the ships can very easily be hiding in gas clouds.
Your orders?
So, we can't really predict anything until we reveal these two.
Fury interceptors
And even
in
then,
flight.
we have no clue what to expect. And I might as well send this one frigate to grab the
We
point.
serve.
There we are. There they are hiding. Where the battleships are not, I couldn't tell you, but we're gonna find out soon. And at least once I reveal them, that'll help a lot with me being able to at least fight them at range. And I do hear boosters, so we do have emission dissipators to concern ourselves with.
Your orders?
At least slightly.
Ship ready.
And I probably should just reveal this now, since I want to take the brunt of the damage.
Heading acknowledged.
This is just a terrible spot for it to kind of go out in the open revealed. And I didn't hear any fighters. Okay. One frigate there. We already knew about emission dissipators, so nothing exciting to talk about there. In that regard.
Coordinates acknowledged. We wait your command.
So, change our priority here. It's another battleship fleet, but not as terrifying just yet. Although I may not even get a chance to grab this objective before we're in the thick of it.
Changing course.
So I'm going to be brute forcing this a tiny bit with,
Engaging engines.
and I'm kind of inclined to fire Meltas too.
Understood.
Since if that does force repair, then that sets me up pretty decently for the later portion of this fight.
All ahead, full. Heading acknowledged. Enemy sighted.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Although we're getting a bit of a lag spike too, which never bodes well either. Now, does that force repair or not?
You have seized a strategic area.
Because that'll help pretty well in this regard.
Heading acknowledged. For the Emperor.
Engaging engines.
Burn retros.
Alright, so we have damage potential here.
Impossible, Admiral.
I am going to lose a lot of my shields, but the Apocalypse at least is all set now.
Ship ready.
My torpedoes are back up.
Acquiring new vector.
That was a bad torpedo shot, I will admit, though.
Setting course. Burn retros. We serve.
I did get some fire assaults there, and again, I do have the ramming spurs to help with this.
Ready. All ahead, full.
And these things do not
Successful.
have. Come on, okay. I was worried the latency screwed me over there some.
Initiate emergency repair.
By all means, attack the flagship,
The
because
strategic
I'm gonna hit you a lot harder. Once my ships decide to cooperate, that is.
And sent. Maximum burn.
Easier said than done.
We wait your command.
Deck's gone there. Just gotta get a couple more fire assaults for good measure,
Your
but
command.
probably should have just killed the generator.
Impossible, Admiral.
I'm kind of okay with this Apocalypse taking all the damage right now. If all seriousness, it seems to be doing just fine. It wasn't really intended that way, but
Understood.
now chase after our prey. Because it just rallied, keep that in mind too, so you know how effective that's going to be with melted torpedoes.
Changing course.
Again, this latency is a little irritating.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
And that's only disruption bomb, so I'm not worried there, but
Burn retros.
you burnt a lot of your combustion. And if these light you on fire, that's going to be amazing.
Strategic area.
Heading acknowledged.
There, that looks like amazing torpedoes and an amazing ram to go with it. Minus the dang latency, which I'm not liking.
Ship ready.
Let's see. I was kind of hoping to do more boring on this thing, and this thing is pretty much going to be dead before the boring even does anything.
Setting
Truth be
course.
told.
We wait your command.
The Collect's assassin, though, does work. There's a second mutiny immediately, and then his crew's going to be gone momentarily.
Your orders?
So this is over. And if anything, sure, I may have mismatched my first 2 Chaos matches. That's always a possibility.
Engaged.
But it seems like the bombers are doing work for them. And that should be completely out of the fight now. Okay, those are just the frigates leaving, I guess.
Ship crippled by the lightning strike.
If I had to assume.
Course engaged.
So yeah, those torpedoes could do wonders. Maybe I was wrong in my assessment about using the melted torpedoes at the start, since if they connect, especially against battleships, which can be pretty easy to do with the sheer numbers we shot. Only way I could have done that better was make sure my Dictator launched its fighters ahead of time in front of those torpedoes. Although, with that amount of time, they could have very easily dodged, so that might have been overcommitted slightly. But as an added bonus, it would have gave me good incentive to try and reveal them at the same time. So I guess all my time with Aeldari just means I'm going to have to reacclimate to not being as mobile. That felt really awkward.